Good afternoon students, welcome to the session on data structures. In our previous session we have seen what is algorithm and next topic is your pseudocode, but I am skipping that. I will be discussing that when you comes to your college. Okay, but for now we are going to deal with your linear data structures. Linear data structures. Data structures. Already I told you people what is linear data structure. Okay, we have studied in the case of types of data structures, I can say. In that we have seen linear and non-linear data structures. Linear data structure is a structure where we people will be holding the data elements in sequence manner. In what? In a sequence order, I can say. Okay, in a sequence order, sequence manner, sequence order, whatever you want to say, you can say. Sequence means what? One after the other we will be storing the data elements in your linear data structures. In that we have seen arrays, linear linked list, and then stack, and then queue. In that we are going to discuss about your arrays now. Okay, why I have selected this topic means it is very easy to understand by you people. Why? Because you might have already done with this in case of your C and C++. Okay, now let us try to understand what is an array. Array is nothing but a collection of homogeneous data elements or as similar data elements, I can say. Similar data elements, I can say. Why I am saying similar kind of data element means whenever you are creating the array will be consisting of integers or as the characters, I can say. Only integers. When I am saying about the integer array, it must store only integer values. When I am saying about the character array, it must store only characters. Only similar kind of data type should be stored so that it will be holding them in a single manner. Okay, by giving a single name, we will be holding a number of elements in your array. Say suppose if I am going for integer array, I will be holding integers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Okay, and these elements are stored in sequence order. One after the other we will be storing it in your array. Okay, like this. And see, the number of elements in your array is finite and limited. Whenever you are going for your array, your number of elements in the array will be limited, I can say. Whatever the size you are specifying for your array, that will be given for your array. Say suppose if you are giving size as 10, then you can store only 10 elements. Okay, it is an ordered collection. Number of elements will be stored, but in a sequence order we will be storing it in your array. And only one kind of data should be stored. Say suppose if I am storing integers, integers should be stored. If I am storing characters, characters should be stored. And the terms related to your array is size of array. Size of array. Okay, before going to the size of array, you must know the syntax for defining array. Syntax for defining array. Syntax is this: data type, and array name, and then size. So this is a very simple syntax for declaring your array. Okay, data type will give us the information what kind of data that you are going to store in your array, and array name is the name which is given for that particular location. And size, here the size of array is nothing but how many elements that you want to store in your array, that will be given by your size, I can say. The maximum number of elements that would be stored in your array is called as size of array. Okay, say suppose if I am declaring like this, int a of 10. So maximum number of elements that I can store is your 10. That is your size of array. Okay, and see, when I am storing, say suppose if it is my array, consider I will be writing it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If this is my array, it will be having indices like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, here we are having collection of elements. We are having what? Collection of elements. In order to have the number of elements, each and every element should be stored in your memory. every element will be having its own address. But in case of array, we won't hold all the addresses of your elements. We will be holding the first element address in your array. Say suppose if it is my array, I will be holding the address of array by holding the first element address. Say suppose it is 5000. This base address is not permanent. Whenever you are executing the program, it will be changed. It will be given at the runtime. I can say at that time it will be fixed. Okay, this is the base address. In order to know the next elements, we will be adding them by the data type size. Data type size. Say consider if it is integer data type, then I will be adding 2. Why? Because integer data type will take 2 bytes of memory. So 5002 for the next location, 5004 for the next location, it will be 5006 for the next location, it will be 5008. Okay, like that we will be having what? Base address. We will be calling it as what? Base address of array. Base address of array, or else I can say simply the first element address in your array is called as base address. Okay, from which you can know the elements of array, and the address of the elements of array can be calculated. How we will be calculating the elements address in your array, that we will see in our next session. Okay, data type of array should be registered by you people, so that you can increase the data size according to the base address. Okay, say suppose my first element address 500, then to go for the next element I will be adding 2 if it is integer. If it is character, I will be adding 1, so that in that particular location I will be finding my next element. Okay, and see, whenever we are storing the elements in our array, it will be stored in sequence order. Okay, one after the other, 1 2 3 like this. Okay, and every element will be having its own index. Okay, first element will be represented with 0, second element will be represented with 1 2 3 like this. We will be having the index. A user or a programmer can access the elements of an array by using what? Subscript or as index, I can say. These are the subscript or as index. This is the subscript I can say. Okay, and see, whenever we are talking about the indexes, you need to register that your array will be allowing you people in order to access the data elements directly. Okay, do register that. And then we will be talking about the range of indexes. Range of indexes. See here, in your case of C++ or C language, you people will be storing the elements from 0 to n. N is the maximum size of your array, I can say. So every element will be starting with 0 to n minus 1, it will be representing. Say suppose if my elements 5 elements I am storing in my array, then I will be representing my elements like this: 1 2 3 4 5. My indices will start with 0 1 2 3 4. Say my size is 5 minus 1 will become 4. My range will be 0 to 4. Okay, within this range I will be storing my data elements. But in case of Pascal like language, or else if it is a Pascal language, there will be a lower bound and upper bound. You people will be having lower bound and upper bound. Say suppose if you are having lower bound as 2 to n plus 1, then your index will start with 2, not with 0. Okay, 2 3 4 5 like that it will be starting in case of Pascal language. But in case of C++ C language, we will be beginning with 0. Okay, that will be done in C and C++ case. But in some other languages, it may have upper bound and lower bound. And even you people can have minus values also, minus 3 to some minus n. Say suppose n, say suppose. Okay, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 like that you people will be having in other language cases. Okay, we will be representing in this particular format, I can say. In generally, whatever the elements that you are going to store in your array, those will be represented like this. Say 1 2 3 4. These are your elements, these are your indices. Okay, say consider A is your array, and see, whenever we are placing this, our range will be 0 to 3, means size of your array will be 4. Okay, and every element's next address depends on the size of data element that you are going to store. If you are going for character, it will be taking 8 bits, that is 1 byte. If you are going for integer, it will be taking 2 bytes, that is 16 bits. If you are going for floating point, it will be taking 4 bytes. Okay, depending on the type of data you are going to store, it will be taking the memory. Okay, and I will go with an example. By that I will be ending this session, and in next session we will be seeing what is abstract data type of your array and what are the operations that we could perform on your array. Okay, you might have seen this example in case of your C++ also. Okay, hash include IO stream using namespace std, and then I will go for main function. See, whenever you are going for your C and C++ language, there must be a main function. Without the main function, your program will not be executed. See, I am going to declare my integer array here, int a of 5. Okay, in order to accept the data, I am declaring one more integer element, that is int I. Okay, I'll go with cout, enter the elements in array. I'll go for loop. In order to have 5 elements, I'll go with for loop I equals to 0, I less than 5, and I plus plus. As we are having only one statement within your for loop, I am not giving any braces. Okay, Cin, and I am accepting that in my A array. Okay, first when it is 0, I will be accepting the first element. When it is 1, I will be accepting second element. When it is 2, I will be accepting the third element. Okay, like that we will be accepting the elements in your array. Okay, in order to display it, I will be giving one more message, cout elements in the array are cout. Before going to the cout, go for loop. Why? Because we want to display 5 elements now. For I equals to 0, I less than 5, and I plus plus. After this, I am going to write cout. See, within the for loop, we are having only one statement. That is the reason I am not using any braces. Okay. A of I, don't give this, and then take a tab space, so that one after the other you people will be getting a tab space. Okay, and then I will be going for closing my main function. If you are executing this, you will be accepting 5 elements for your array. So consider, if I am executing this on your system, I will be asking you people to enter the elements. In array. Okay, so that you people will be entering like this: 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, after entering this, I am going to display those on your screen. Okay, elements in the array are 11. I'll take a tab space. Why? Because in our program I have used the tab space. 12, 13, 14, 15. This for loop will be repeated for 5 times. After completion of this 5 times, it will be coming out from that particular for loop. Okay, like this we will be representing your arrays. In generally, when we are talking about the array, we will be representing the array like this. But in your memory locations, it won't store like this. Just do remember, it won't store like this in a sequence manner. but your memory will be in this vertical type. Okay, it will be storing in this manner, one after the other it will be storing the elements. Okay, that we will discuss in our next session. I think so, I hope it is very clear. Why? Because you people have already done with your arrays in case of C and C++. Okay, in next session we will be discussing about abstract data type, that is operations that we could perform on your arrays. Okay, and also we will be talking about the memory representation, how we will be representing in the memory, how the data elements are stored, and how we people will be finding the address of elements in your array. Okay, that's it for now. If you are having any doubts, just let me know by your comments. Thank you.